Creationists will also point to examples where freshly killed animals are carbon dated as being thousands of years old. Thus, we're told these dating methods cannot be trusted. For example, we read on creationtoday.org that, quote, living mollusk shells were dated up to 2,300 years old. A freshly killed seal was carbon dated as having died 1,300 years ago, end quote. Regarding the mollusk shells, Christopher Gregory Weber writes the following in the Creation Evolution Journal, quote, this finding does discredit the carbon-14 dating of freshwater mussels, but that's about all. Keith and Anderson show considerable evidence that the mussels acquired much of their carbon from the limestone of the waters they lived in, and from some very old humus as well. Carbon from these sources is very low in carbon-14 because these sources are so old and have not been mixed with fresh carbon from the air. Thus, a freshly killed mussel has far less carbon-14 than a freshly killed something else, which is why the carbon-14 dating method makes freshwater mussels seem older than they really are. When dating wood, there is no such problem because wood gets its carbon straight from the air, complete with the full dose of carbon-14, end quote. What about the freshly killed seal? As Talk Origins writes, quote, this is the well-known reservoir effect. The seals feed off of animals that live in a nutrient-rich upwelling zone. The water that is upwelling has been traveling along the ocean bottom for a few thousand years before surfacing. The carbon dioxide in it came from the atmosphere before the water sank. Thus, the carbon in the seawater is a couple of thousand years old from when it was in the atmosphere, and its radiocarbon content reflects this time, end quote. Once again, there is a perfectly reasonable explanation for this discrepancy, and this doesn't justify a wholesale dismissal of radiometric dating. Notice a pattern here. Now, you might be saying at this point, if we can't use these dating methods on certain types of rock or animal, it seems to me that they're just not trustworthy. Understand that nobody is saying radiometric dating works perfectly in every conceivable set of circumstances. As with almost every tool in science, there are certain limitations to radiometric dating, and nobody understands these limitations better than the scientists who use these dating techniques. As they write on Talk Origins, quote, contrary to creationist propaganda, limitations of a tool do not invalidate the tool, end quote. By analogy, diagnostic tools in medicine will sometimes generate false positives, where the test results inaccurately indicate that a person has a disease that they don't actually have. This doesn't therefore make these tools completely worthless. It just means that sometimes they get it wrong, but when properly applied, the techniques will give us the correct answer the vast majority of the time. I'm on Patreon. There's a link in the description if you'd like to support my content. I would really appreciate it. There's also social media links in there if you want to follow me there. I'm trying to build up some of those followings. I would really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe for more videos if you haven't already. Hit the bell, hit the like button, post a fucking comments. All that fun stuff that's standard on YouTube. You know the fucking drill. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this.